Welcome to another episode of Career Compass. Amidst the plethora of professions emerging new every day, why do we choose psychology as a career? Simple reason is this: irrespective of whatever profession you choose, be it an expert in machine learning, artificial intelligence, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a teacher, or a mere member of the society or a family, a psychologist is always in need in any discipline we choose to pursue. Psychology is central to understand how society works. Psychology as a discipline studies human behavior and mental processes from diverse perspectives like social sciences, life sciences, and artificial intelligence. Needless to say, the scopes of psychology as a career are huge. The day is not far off when every single field of study will incorporate psychology and every organization will mandatorily need a psychologist. Thus, 21st century will undoubtedly witness an upsurge in job openings and greater scopes in the field of psychology. We have amidst our own parent, mother of Rakshan of Standard 11, who is a psychologist and founder of We Power. More than all her accomplishments, I consider her specialization in POXO and POSH training as most relevant and needed in today's context. It's my prerogative and privilege to introduce our eminent guest of the day, Mrs. Gayatri, the child psychologist with specialization in children with developmental delay, consultant psychologist in corporate sectors like Apollo Life and Tata Consultancy Services, and also the brand ambassador of mental wellness in the International Women's Organization. Welcome, ma'am, to our show and to inspire our students as well as our parents.
Thank you, Father. Indeed, a great honor. Warm greetings to one and all. I am Gayatri, counseling psychologist, been in practice for about 15 plus years. I appreciate the initiative of the management in organizing programs like this for the welfare of the students. So here at Don Bosco, I believe that they just don't take the horse to the pond, they make them relish the water. So it is for the welfare of each and every student who are so confused at crossroads to select what profession or career they are intent to take. And it's also a clarity and a guideline for parents to watch what the child can do better at. So there's a famous saying that goes, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. We all consider work as worship whatsoever, and each profession has its own creaming on the ice, and we all enjoy it when we love and are passionate about the job. So what is psychology? It's an interesting study about the mind and the behavior. Psychology as a discipline studies human behavior and mental processes from diverse perspectives. It employs scientific methods to understand human perception, learning, emotions, and reactions to situations. Apart from meeting clients and exploring the subject, it also helps an individual to navigate their own lifestyle and mindsets. So aren't we inquisitive to know who can become a psychologist and how to become a psychologist? Anyone with a 10th plus 2 stream, with or without psychology as a subject in the school, can pursue psychology in their UG level. So a graduation degree in psychology honors, post-graduation degree in psychology with a specialization in clinical psychology, industrial psychology, and organizational behavior, school or education psychology, health psychology, cognitive psychology, social psychology, and experimental psychology. Apart from this, there are various other new arenas that are branching out from psychology, which are called animal psychology, environmental psychology, criminal psychology, and forensic psychology. So optional level, they can pursue their PG diploma courses in specialized area of psychology like counseling skills and developmental disabilities, and also on counseling schools, students on career platforms. So optional MPhil degree in clinical psychology, doctorate degree in specialized area of psychology. So everyone cannot fit into the same shoes. Similarly, a profession has to be clearly selected, and in order to select one's profession, we need to be able to assess and gauge our own personality traits. So the characteristics of a psychologist: people with a soft heart and a firm back can opt for this profession. I vouch on that. So passion for learning, empathy skills, problem solving skills, setting up appropriate boundaries with the client, trustworthiness, patience in listening, being non-judgmental, and ethical code and cross-cultural sensitivity. Since we tend to meet people of different culture, we'll have to assess and accept them on those grounds. Where will a career in psychology take you? Scope of career as a psychologist. So there are various fields where you can specialize. So the first one is clinical psychology, where you deal with the assessments and you deal with patients who have issues on psychosis and other biological disorders which lead to the neuropathology of clients. And it is also a place where you do the assessments for patients to know under what dimension or cluster they belong to. Next is the counseling psychology, where you deal with people who are in general fighting against stress, anxiety, depression, career counseling. They will want to have a clarity and insight on career counseling, and they give therapies accordingly. So it is mostly client-centered therapies. We have forensic psychology, which is buzzing of late, which helps in the legal process. Health psychology, where people are appointed in hospitals and they deal with patients, inpatients and outpatients. Teaching and research. So this is an area where students who are interested in research methodology and dealing with in-depth core issues on psychology, they can research on any modem and any model, and they can come out with their own inventions. So industrial and organizational psychology is more towards organizations, organizational behavior, employees, employers, and the issues that happens under any organization. Sports psychology. Sports psychology is also buzzing with especially boys prefer more on sports psychology, where they can go and counsel sportsmen on their team. So it could be even an IPL cricket team or a kabaddi team or even the Indian team or the World Olympic athletes or anyone. So the arena is vast in that area. And agency community counseling. So this is more towards market research and advertising agencies and how people, they can catch the pulse of people. So educational psychology is where in school setups they work on career assessments and in dealing with people with learning disabilities and identifying their issues and trying to fix through a special educator. School counseling is issues where children have, as teens or even as smaller children in primary level, face day-to-day issues. So there are counselors and skilled helpers who help the children to get out of this kind of disturbances. And social work towards community and on other grounds. So this is again a very controversial subject. Is psychology a field mainly opted or meant for women? Not exactly. So being non-judgmental people, we'll have to keep these things very clear in mind, and definitely boys are very empathetic and they can pursue psychology and come out in flying colors. So end of the day, what is the take home for a psychologist? What are the pros of being a psychologist? So the first and foremost is reward of helping people. It's almost like feel like a good Samaritan end of the day. Flexible work timings. We can fix appointments as per our convenience or rather the client's convenience. potential to earn high. Definitely the scale of pay is getting hiked for psychologists. Can set up your own office, opportunity to travel around the world, global job opportunities. Since we are used after the pandemic on hybrid modes, we also get clients from abroad. So you can sit and talk to a client who's on the other pole. Apart from that, corporates do opt for taking sessions with people in India. Psychologists are doing an amazing job globally. The remuneration or the package for the psychologist. So it's minimum of 5 lakh per annum as a fresher, and scope of earning is high based on the experience and private practice. So if you're already employed in an organization, you get a different package as per their norms, and apart from that you can practice, you can have your private practice in your own clinic, so that is another additional remuneration that psychologists can see. So earning could also increase if you go abroad for studies or work. Apart from that, there are training sessions. You can be a life coach. Being a psychologist, you can be a life coach. You can do trainings in corporates on mental well-being, mental hygiene, on various aspects. The institutions that offer psychology. So the Indian Institute of Psychological Research, Christ University, St. Xavier's Mumbai, Delhi University, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Delhi, Ferguson College, Pune, Jamia Millia Islamia, Banaras Hindu University, CMR University, Bangalore. So the institutions in Chennai, Madras School of Social Work, MSSW, Egmore, Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai, Presidency College, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, SA College of Arts and Science, St. Thomas College of Arts and Science, Apollo Arts and Science College, Dr. Ambedkar Government Arts College. So far we have been having a view over colleges that offer psychology for boys. Apart from that, Women's Christian College, Stella Maris, MOP Vaishnav, and various other colleges offer psychology for the girl students as well. And there is another institute called 3G Institute in IIT Research Park, which offers courses for both boys and girls. So we've been having an overview of what the characteristics, the scopes, the scale of pay, and the objectives of taking psychology as a subject, and the universities which offer the courses. So we've come here. So it's like we need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. So this is the site where you can go through and you can have in-depth ideas on what are the entrance examinations offered in different deemed universities and universities, government universities. You also have a list of the topics and how the exams are conducted, on what grounds, whether it is reasoning, psychology subjects, or general knowledge, or basic aptitude. So all these is different in different universities. So we've given you the link so that you can benefit.
First and foremost, people have stigma with regard to psychologist or psychiatrist. What's the difference between psychologist or psychiatrist, and how do we educate our children with regards to the need for counseling?
Thank you for shooting up this question, Father, and definitely this is the need of the hour. This is a beautiful question which defines, the two professions which has a thin layer. Though we are loaded with information on social media and we browse through Google, people are still not aware between the difference between the psychologist and psychiatrist. Though we deal with people with mental health and mental hygiene, it's very different, because psychologists are more towards the preventive form. So we talk to the clients in a very early stage, and we deal with therapies, and we don't put them on medication. And when we assess and see whether they are on the mild, moderate, or severe mode, and in case if they are on the severe mode, we suggest or refer them to the psychiatrist. So psychiatrists are basically doctors who completed MBBS and further they specialize in psychiatry. They go through the reports, and after going through, they prescribe medicines for the clients. So this is the difference between psychologist and psychiatrist, but most of them, they prefer going to a psychiatrist initially itself. So even before an assessment done, they go to the psychiatrist thinking that only medicines can solve this issue. And as you said, we need to educate children and adults regarding the need for counseling, because catching them young makes always a better impact. As you say, counseling is still stigmatized, and people hesitate to walk into a psychology center thinking that they might be labeled by people in the future. So when it's a physical ailment,
parents.
yes, exactly,
Parents,
exactly,
they
father.
hesitate to take the children.
And when it comes to physical ailment, they are very open and vocal to talk about that to their friends. But when it comes to a mental issue, they are very hesitant, and especially the boys, because we are taught in our society, boys don't cry, and that is the extra pent-up force within them, which outbursts in a worst manner. So I think counseling has to be educated for children and for parents. It is just a step where you talk to a friend, where you address to a need of yours when your hormonal levels inflate or whatever. You come to a conclusion that you need a session, and you fix your problems there.
Now, can a psychologist who is trained well, who is fully at it, be a normal person in the family with his or her family members?
Very tricky question
Their own
indeed,
experience, right.
father.
Yeah.
But I think, it's like we need to avoid certain transference and counter transference, be it any profession. And when it's in a professional platform, it's different for us to handle as a client.
Yes.
But when I'm there at home as a mom, it's the typical mom in me that jumps out, because we all talk about as psychologists of living the moment and being mindful. So that is how I train myself. So when I'm at home, I'm totally a mother or a wife or a daughter-in-law. So that's how I picture myself, so that I don't carry home the extra baggage of seeing a client, or addressing them, or giving them my own yarn, or facilitating them. So I've always tried to be a mother, a wife, and a daughter-in-law. So I think I haven't had any critics regarding this at home, but maybe I'll have to ask them in person, since you brought up this question, father.
Now the government is insisting on POCSO very much. Now, is POCSO seen as a threat or guide to the educators?
Father, this is a very question which is very vital in the current scenario. Prevention of children against sexual offense is highlighted from 2012 in the benefit of children who are not aware most of the times that they are sexually harassed. So it is definitely a guide. Being a professional, I could say it is a guide to educators. At times it throws light and an awareness to themselves, because all laws are not learned by people, especially in our country. We don't have law as a subject even in school. So most of the laws are broken because we are not aware of the law. So this POCSO gives light to educators, and we are all stakeholders towards children, and the society, and anyone, any neighbor or any person for that matter, they can have some kind of an awareness and insight about the laws, so that they can draw the line. And POCSO is more for children, and it is for both genders, for girls and boys, and they are also taught, the children are also given classes and awareness on how to handle themselves, and where to draw the line, and how to carry themselves. So it is basically an enlightenment towards this law for the society.
You said it rightly, and we are proud to say that in all our Don Bosco institutions, every year the teachers are given orientation about POCSO Act, and then they sign at the end every year to follow that.
Okay.
So we are proud to say that.
That's indeed a very nice gesture, father, and we appreciate, because not everyone follows that.
Dear ma'am, it was an enlightening session. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you. May all the efforts that you take be fulfilled. God bless you once again.
Thank you, father, for giving me this opportunity, and it's indeed a pleasure being in the midst of and addressing the parents and students through this platform, and I appreciate your initiative that you do and take so that it reaches to the welfare of the students. Thank you so much, Father.